Hey little witches, Justina here, calling all practical magic fans and music lovers. This fall, get ready for something truly spellbinding from the Stinas. Christina and I started Magnolia Street podcast as a way to share our original music inspired by our favorite movie, Practical Magic. We've been hard at work in the recording studio since September, brewing up our 5-song debut EP, Magnolia Street Volume 1.
At the house on Magnolia Street, would you go down to Magnolia Street with the wisteria wild? At the house of magic and mystery, so would you go down to Magnolia Street?
You want the inside scoop on our music and the stories behind each song? Join our Rose tier on Patreon for just $8 a month and dive into exclusive content from our song-episodes. Plus, bonus content from our highly anticipated upcoming EP. On there, you'll find lyric sheets, original demos, behind-the-scenes videos from the studio, blog posts, production notes, and more. Don't miss out on the magic. Keep up to date with us on our Instagram at Magnolia Street Podcast for all of our music news and be a part of our musical journey. The Stinas are bringing practical magic to life, one song at a time, right here on Magnolia Street.
You didn't go down to Magnolia Street. Magnolia Street. Sleepy town settling for the night, where every lawn is tailored just right, and it's about time that the back porch light comes on. At that house down the street, at that house on Magnolia Street.
We have not had to use our safe word, which is safe word. You were correct.
Our safe word is safe word.
A long time. This is a safe word situation.
That's like naming your dog Dog. Hey dog. Yeah. Okay, well first of all, hey witch hey.
Hey witch hey. I'm Christina.
I'm Justina. Welcome to Magnolia Street Podcast, your one and only musically inspired practical magic fandom podcast.
Every week we deep dive on different aspects of the movie and the books, as well as treat your ears to our very own practical magic inspired original music.
This week, we have a lot to unpack here.
We're bursting.
Right. We are bursting at the seams. I just got chills, by the way. I'm sure by now we've all heard the news. I can't even, my cheeks are hurting from smiling so hard. Practical Magic 2 is happening.
It's happening!
It's happening!
Sound the alarms!
Somebody posted that Steve Carell, the cap cut. It's
happening! Take home!
So, let us just stress here that this is not a hoax. I repeat, this is not a hoax. We all remember that fake poster situation that we encountered a year ago, which I actually have some new theories about, which we'll get to a little later on.
We are recording this on June 11th. We just got this news yesterday. I did kind of include your theory, but I'll skip over that since you'll cover it later. So yeah, during the whole upheaval of the practical magic community during that time, I think our minds were pulling the e-brake, right, on that situation. What is happening? So we immediately went to Alice. And I think maybe Jess had shared the poster in our story. And she was like, Alice, what is going on in the caption? And sweet Alice replied to us and she said, I wish, ! Nothing's happening. We replied, we wish to pray hands. We said, we'll put it out in the universe. Thank you. We also said, we can't just skip right over book 4 anyway, right? Where are book 2 and 3? Let us know if we can do anything on our end. Team Alice, and then some more like jazz hands. Alice says, thank you. All of the books are going to be a part of the TV series on HBO Max, but once HBO Max was bought by the Discovery Channel 6 weeks before the start date, they canceled a lot of dramas, including that one. And then she sent broken heart emojis. We said, crying face, oh, our hearts. We aren't giving up. These stories are so special to so many people. It shall happen. And then she sent us some hearts in return. Needless to say, we had mixed emotions from the start. and the having to break the news to whomever we could. According to Alice, this was a hoax. So we were trying to get the word out there. Stop passing this around. It's not real.
So this time, it had actually been made official by the WB through its social media accounts, specifically Instagram and TikTok, but they did this in the most unhinged way. Like, who is managing these accounts? I think they knew exactly what they were doing. They wanted to toy with us. Whoever did this is a masochist, right? Is that the right word? Not a sadist, right? A masochist.
Whoever
like
did this had Jimmy mischievous energy. He had a rascal energy.
trickster spirit.
Trickster. Yeah.
Right, yeah. We're gonna get to the juice of all this in a second, like how this all went down, but I kind of just wanted to go through the play-by-play with how this all went down because this whole situation is just bananas with how they released this information. This past Saturday, I was doing some gardening. I was knee-deep in removing some wormwood and some horseweed from my garden.
Horse thief.
Horse thief. Now, I don't remember what time I got pinged. It was maybe somewhere between like 4 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. or so. And I can't for the life of me remember who sent this video to us. And I think they sent it to us on our Instagram. I went back through our history and I can't find it. I even went through the timestamps. I went to the day. I can't find it. So if you were that person who sent us this tip, thank you so much. I wish I remember who it was so I could shout them out. This is what that person sent us to our Magnolia Street Instagram. They forwarded us a reel that the WB Instagram account, they posted this reel to their Instagram. The video was a short teaser, maybe like a 10-second clip of a black screen with like 3 candles. And then in big practical magic font, we all know that font, right? With the stars over the letter I's, it said midnight on TikTok. That's all it said. Now, mind you, the music was that Alan Silvestri score from Jimmy's resurrection scene in the movie. So that was really all we had to work with. It didn't even say like what time zone, nothing, just midnight on TikTok. Very vague.
I got the message from you, and I'll be honest, I opened it with no audio on, and I was like, what the fuck is this? A random event. And then I was kind of salty because we want to be the first in everything practical magic for y'all. So I just was like, fuck this. And I put it away. I was like, I can't watch this right now.
Mm-hmm.
So all I saw were like candles lighting up, and I thought it was like a fan event, to be honest.
Okay.
Then that evening I was sitting on the porch and I opened it again with the audio and noticed the creator was motherfucking Warner Brothers Pictures themselves. And my eyes were as big as freaking dinner plates. And then I messaged you. You say at 5:29, you have the exact times. And I was saying, you'll be up at midnight, right? And I said, are we about to get a massive influx of people, of listeners, of followers? Because as y'all know, we were planning on take a break. So I said, universe said, fuck you. No, you're not taking a break.
Yeah. So somewhere in that time frame, I was thinking to myself, what's today's date? Because what I didn't tell you, Christina, was about a month ago, I was kind of going through some anxieties and an overwhelming bout of like existentialism. And I just needed some cosmic reassurance. So I would doom scroll TikTok and I would just listen to all of these like tarot readers and astrological forecasters for some reassurance, and they would just like feed my delulu, as they call it on the TikTok world, right?
Yeah.
They would just feed my delusions, and I would save a lot of these videos so I could revert back to them if I needed to. Well, about a month ago, I'm getting chills again talking about this, I came across this video from this one guy. I don't know if I want to share his name or his @ or whatever, because I don't want people blowing him up and I don't want people like bothering him. So
if you find him, you're supposed to find him.
If he pops up in your algorithm, the message was for you. Also, I don't really want to relay the entire message here because I feel like even though he gave the message for the collective, if it pops up in your algorithm, it's for you. So I did feel like, in essence, it was really personal, even though it wasn't aimed to be personal, but I felt like it directly spoke to me.
And of course, you're not going to share it word for word either, because there's some part of him that was probably channeling these messages. That's like his special little conduit, that he was sharing at that specific day and time. He needed to say that to whoever was listening.
Right. And I didn't want to send it to you because obviously you're like, yeah, whatever, nothing's gonna happen. Like you just like blow me off. So I kind of, quietly saved it and let it just like fester in my subconscious Delulu mind. But the caption on the video, I do want to mention, read, "Save this video /date 6/9 2024. In this video, he had captions kind of all over the screen. And this is what a lot of like the astrological readers and tarot readers on TikTok do. They put the spirit numbers, they put like who the message is for, and they kind of put like words all over the screen to grab your attention. Well, this fucking got my attention. All over the video, it had angel numbers 1111, 222, 444, 555, 777, 888, 999, which are all angel numbers. But I've talked to you about the 444 on this podcast before and the significance that it holds in my own life. I even have my little 444 necklace on. And Christina, you've been seeing a lot of the 333 lately.
Yeah,
right?
totally. And you told me in our episode with Karen Awad that my life path number is a 3. And we found out that yours is an 8, but that boils down to 4. So it's just, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah. But I feel like since we've had that conversation with Karen Awad on our recent Breaking the Owens Curse episode, you guys should go back and listen to it. It was only a couple episodes ago. I've noticed, Christina, and you've been more noticeably tuned in, because now you'll text me when you see your 333. I've been texting you when I see the 444.
Yeah. I think we should keep that going. And it's the weirdest place. It's like on the back of trucks. It's the time. And like you can kind of get in a habit of looking at the clock around the same time.
Yeah.
But it's everywhere. And my dreams have been going absolutely crazy too. I keep dreaming that we're back in Salem, like at least 2 or 3 times in the last couple weeks. And I'm like, something wants us to go back there, I feel like.
Yeah. I do feel like there's been this kind of shift happening, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was because I was going through my own like little personal bouts of existentialism and like trying to figure out what the fuck, like I feel like we were at a point with this podcast where we were both kind of feeling a little burnt out, which is why we decided to take that break. But now I'm not so sure. Maybe now we're not supposed to take this break. I don't know. Maybe we're supposed to ride this wave and just see what happens. But I feel like all the signs are there pointing to like you're on the right path, you're doing what you should be doing, and that's feeding all of the practical magic community's delulu about this new release that we've been praying for and pining for ever since we saw that hoax poster, right? Well, even before that, but that kind of just sent us all over the edge. So this TikTok video had all these angel numbers placed all over it. And then under that, it said, "You are ready now. Creative types, songwriters, artists, singers, actors, business owners." And what are we, Christina? We are
all
creative
of
types, all of those things, right? And most notably the songwriters, because we started this whole podcast under the basis of like we wrote all of these beautiful practical magic original songs inspired by the movie, and we wanted a platform to be able to share those with the practical magic community and people who love this movie just as much as we do. Honestly, like we just really love this movie so much. We just want to get our music out there, and we are planning on a release this coming fall, so be on the lookout for that. But that was just seeing this video, to me, in my mind, it just cemented that we are on the right path doing what we're doing here. In this video, the guy says, "Save this video. I want you to come back on June 9th, 2024 and tell me how much has changed." It's only been a couple days. Not much has really changed in our lives day to day anyway, but that was the catalyst. Even though we didn't really know what was going on yet, it was very vague. I just feel like the meaning of that message, it fueled me even more to be like, okay, we're doing the right thing here. But I just want to throw out there that this date, June 9th, stuck out in my mind because since I saved this video, I had subconsciously been waiting for June 9th like some shoe was going to drop. When I got this teaser on Saturday, I remembered that TikTok video and I was like, oh my God, what day is it? And sure enough, I opened my phone and I, unlocked my screen and June 9th popped up and I think I just lost my shit right then and there. And I sent you the video on TikTok and I was like, look at the video that I saved a month ago to tell me to come back on June 9th and look what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And I just you were like, oh my God, I have chills.
You sent this video to me. And like these things, you send them to me frequently, but you were like, you need to fucking watch this. I had tears in my eyes after 2.5 years of this project and like the evolution it's taken on and how it's grown into all these cool things. Shit was about to happen and we could feel it. I was getting very emotional.
I definitely thought that was weird and how those two things lined up. And this guy predicted June 9th, come back, something's going to happen June 9th. And the WB dropped that like cryptic ass bomb on all of us. And we had to wait till midnight.
Which you're going to take us through shortly, right? So,
yeah.
But needless to say, like I did not stay up to midnight. but I was lying in bed ruminating on this announcement. And I was just laying there. I was like, I have to grab my phone. I rolled over in the dark, grabbed my phone. I didn't even, it might have been close to 9, maybe. And I messaged you and said, if you watch this at midnight, be sure to record your reaction. And then you Marcoed me back around 9:45, like all hunkered down in your bed with your headphones already on. You were ready to go. You're ready to rock and roll. And you asked, are we watching this together? Are we recording our reactions at midnight? But I was out. And then I marked you the next day, like, girl, I was asleep. I was so hard to sleep at that time.
Yeah. Going back before all the stuff, like, leading up to midnight, when I first got this ping on my phone and I realized it was June 9th, and then I texted you, Mallory in our Wisteria Vine, she messaged us and she was like, red alert, red alert. I just saw the teaser you guys posted to your Instagram. Hello. She's like, midnight, what time? Is it midnight Pacific? Is it midnight Eastern? I need to get my midnight margaritas ready. She was so funny. But yeah, I think we all felt the same way. Just like confusion. What time zone? What is this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's going on? Going back to midnight now. We're leading up to midnight. You texted me at 9:28 p.m.
Oh, okay.
And you said, do not watch that announcement without recording your reaction.
Okay. Yeah.
And I responded at 9:39, only 10 minutes later. I was like, so do we need to Zoom at midnight and watch this together?
I put my phone back down and turned over. I'm so sorry.
Crickets. You had already clocked out, so I had accepted my fate that I was going to have to go at this one alone. I was like, it's fine. I got this. But then Avi gets into bed because it was like 11:50, right? 11:50 p.m. I had my laptop in bed with me because I was actually editing the Lavender episode, which was actually supposed to come out today when you guys you guys were supposed to be hearing the Lavender episode right now, but we pushed that back so we can get you this episode as soon as possible, striking while the iron's hot. So I was like trying to edit that Lavender episode, but I felt like I couldn't get shit done because I got swept up in all the buzz surrounding this midnight announcement on both Instagram and TikTok, and I'm like responding to comments and like our shit is blowing up.
Christina had to run into the woods to calm down, right? I had to turn my phone off a few times. It's so exciting. And I know I'm supposed to be doing something. I don't know what that something is. And I'm like, Justina, be Jesus and take the wheel situation. So I was so excited for this. And we want everybody to know, like, we want to communicate with each and every one of you. There's 2 of us. So, well, yesterday there was 1 of us. So good job, Jess.
I was trying to keep up with all the comments. Dude, our inbox, our DMs, our comments were blowing up yesterday.
We're so grateful. Thank you for doing that. Keep tagging Warner Brothers with everything and Magnolia Street together.
Yeah. Tell Warner Brothers you want to hear the Stinas on Magnolia Street podcast. You want to hear their original music on the Practical Magic 2 soundtrack. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Going back to midnight, right? So my husband gets into bed and I'm editing the Lavender episode. I couldn't concentrate. So he gets into bed and he's ready to pass out. But I tell him, I'm like, listen, I can't turn out this light for another 10 minutes. So you're going to have to wait your ass to go to sleep because the WB just posted this teaser and something's going down. And I showed it to him and he was like, oh shit. He knew not to fuck with this. So he was like, all right, take the 10 minutes. It's fine. So midnight hits and I hop on Zoom with myself to record my reaction as per Christina's request. And I queued up TikTok. And as I sign in, I signed in at midnight, but nothing was up yet. So I kept refreshing. I was like, where the fuck is this midnight announcement? Around 12:07, they posted a new video with the caption Practical Magic Moments Part 1. So I can play you guys the audio to that video now. Okay. WB Pictures. All right. About to watch whatever the heck WB teased midnight on TikTok. They just posted a video that says Practical Magic Moments Part 1. The caption reads, once you hear the Death Watch Beetle, it's too late. The comments. People are commenting, I stayed up for this. What a waste. I could have been sleeping. All this just to announce it's streaming on Max? Girl, as if I don't already own physical and digital copies of this movie. Team, you made me stay up past my bedtime to tell me I can stream Practical Magic. This meeting could have been an email. Wait, were we just trolled? This was the announcement? Got everyone's hopes up for nothing? Better late than never. It said midnight, not 12:07. Something is definitely brewing because it says Part 1. I'm catching up to y'all. I beg your pardon, I made midnight margaritas for this? All this to tell us it's just streaming. Don't be teasing us like this. What does this mean? Is this it? It's just an announcement to tell us that it's streaming on Max? There's gotta be something else. What? It says part 1, so maybe there's something else. I really hope we're wrong about this. But what a tease. What a tease. Maybe since Pacific time is the last time zone that hits midnight, maybe this is a tease until Pacific time hits midnight, and maybe the actual announcement will be Pacific time midnight, which is 7 hours from now Eastern Standard Time. So maybe there's still hope. If that is in fact the announcement, a lot of Practical Magic fans are pissed off right now. I guess we'll wait till 7 hours from now. All right, signing off.
So the comments were hysterical. The comments were so funny. After all of that big teaser for a Practical Magic is now streaming on HBO Max announcement,
Yeah,
I was like,
we were
what?
getting.
I then expected, like, I exported my video reaction. I threw it up on our Instagram. I threw it up on our TikTok with the following caption. I was like, were we just trolls? All this build up to tell us it's streaming on Max. I refuse to believe that that is all. It did say Practical Magic Moments Part 1, so does that mean there will be a Part 2 to that video? And also, the last time zone to hit midnight is Pacific Samoan time, which is 7 hours from EST. So perhaps the real announcement is when Pacific time reaches midnight. And there are little announcements maybe leading up to the final announcements as all the other time zones hit midnight. So I was like, what do you guys think? Does my theory make sense? Are we being trolled? Discuss in the comments. This is juicy. Clown face, clown face, clown face, clown face, clown face. Clown face. Right. Shortly after I uploaded my reaction video, I refreshed TikTok, and sure enough, like every few minutes they uploaded a new Practical Magic Moments part, and they did this up to part 5. Part 1 was Michael's death scene, and the caption read, "Once you hear the Death Watch beetle, it's too late. Own Practical Magic on digital and stream on Max." What? So part 2 was the Jimmy resurrection scene, and the caption was, "White as light, mighty hectate, make it right." Again, hashtag Practical Magic, own digital on stream and Max, right, whatever. And they said this on every single part, by the way. Part 3 was the Midnight Margarita scene, and the caption was, "It's time for some midnight margaritas." Part 4 was Gary showing up for breakfast and him interrogating Sally in the greenhouse scene, and the caption was, "He can flip pancakes in the air." Part 5 was the coven scene, the circle of brooms at the end of the film, and the caption was, "Always throw spilt salt over your left shoulder," witch emoji. And that was it. That was all the parts they uploaded, and I was up until like 2, 3 in the morning, and nothing else was happening. So I was like, I guess
would have
that's
been
it, guys.
furious.
I was like, I guess that's the announcement. I guess it's just we're streaming on HBO Max. Okay, cool.
Right. I woke up and I checked TikTok and I saw that cluster of part 1, part 2, part 3, etc. And I was like, the fuck is this bullshit? I didn't even watch them all because we've all seen, I know what the movie is. I don't need these little clips. So I was scrolling through the comments to see like what the fuck was happening. And exactly like you said, I saw some of the stuff saying, oh, about Max and streaming. And I was like, all of that for a streaming announcement? That's fucking bullshit. Yeah. Then I hopped over to our TikTok and saw that you had posted your recorded reaction and saw those comments. I was just like, oh my God. Part of me was disappointed. Part of me was a little relieved because I don't think I have the headspace right now for a big Practical Magic announcement. Same. So I was a little bit torn.
I was not ready for that, for sure. We were definitely blindsided, I think, a little bit. That was it. I was rolling with the Pacific time theory. I thought if we got any news, it probably wouldn't be until the morning, Eastern Standard Time, because they probably wanted to wait until the last time zone hit midnight so they didn't spoil it for the rest of the world. So if that was their time slot that they were going to announce this, then it would have had to have been that last time zone, which is Pacific time. So I remember waking up around 7 a.m. or so, and I checked the WB TikTok, and I still just saw the Practical Magic Part 5 video. So I went back to sleep. I got pissed and I went back to sleep. You texted me at like 5:38 in the morning, and you were like, well, that's disappointed. Yeah. And I texted you back at 9:55, and I was like, that was such balls.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then you texted.
I thought you were saying that was such balls because of what I sent to Alice.
What?
I was talking to Alice on our Instagram, and I thought you were peeping our conversation.
Wait, what did you say to Alice?
I said to her,
no, I said that was such balls because I was like, that was a big disappointment. We only got 5 parts of the movie clips saying the HBO Max streaming.
Right. I I sent Alice at around 7, a little after 7, because she
AM.
sent us crisscross fingers emojis.
Okay.
And then I said, we are confused. And then like the happy face, the smiling face with the sweat. I said, needless to say, we are all rooting for this story in whatever capacity it presents itself. But WB, what are you trying to pull? We are dying over here. And she laughy emojied. I said, and then later you said that was such balls. And I thought you meant, oh, I had balls for saying that to her. So I messaged you back. Gemini season.
Okay, so that explains it, because I was a little confused at why you were like, it's Gemini season. And I had thought by saying that it's hashtag Gemini season, you meant that like not everything is what it seems. Like maybe it seemed like we're getting a big announcement,
communication is a little skewed.
but then we got the flip-flop, and then it was ended up being something else. But that's so funny. So we both thought each other meant completely different things.
I know.
That's so funny. Okay.
I was at work. I was just at work checking my phone for any further updates. And then I saw that the WB had posted another clip with the Owens ladies dancing the Midnight Margaritas dance scene, but cap cut over like a random bedroom. But the type font, it said, "Me and the girls, when we find out Practical Magic 2 is happening." And I was about to leave work at this point, and I said, no. And I tried to call you right away.
Yeah.
And by the way, after I read that, I messaged Alice back. I said, well. We are now unconfused.
I completely missed that. Because I was at that point, it was like 10:21 a.m. You were FaceTiming me on Instagram, and I texted you like, girl, I am on the toilet. And I hung up because I was indisposed. And at the same time, I saw a comment notification from Instagram pop up from our follower, Amanda Elizabeth. Shout out, Amanda. What's up, from Australia? And Amanda said, I just saw these notifications like pop up like boom, 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 right? She was like, okay, you called it. We are past midnight here in Australia now, and there's a post on the WB TikTok. Mind you, our midnight is ahead of you, so that's really annoying that they did it that way, but whatever, we are getting Practical Magic 2. And those were 3 separate comments, mind you. So I got 3 separate notifications. So you were calling me, and then I got the boom, 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 the ping on the Instagram, and I saw all of that happening, and I was like, wait, what? I jumped off the toilet so fucking fast. I didn't even get to finish my poop. And I frantically tried to work technology while we're both trying to hop on Instagram Live at the same time.
Yes.
And then I went back to TikTok so I could watch the announcement in real time. And I think my brain just like broke right then and there.
That is the point in time where I thought I was dreaming, because I was trying to call you, make my fingers work, and I kept pressing the wrong shit and opening the wrong boxes to call you. And it was like, I'm having an out-of-body experience, but finally we got a hold of each other.
Yeah, so we hopped on the IG Live, and we were able to kind of like talk this through and just kind of like calm down, take a breath, right? Just everybody just chill. But Practical Magic 2 is happening.
Calm down, calm down.
Calm down, yeah. So that was just insane. But can we talk about how unhinged this teaser/release strategy was for this announcement?
Yeah.
Unhinged. Like, the WB pissed off a lot of fans with their 5-part film recap of the first movie, telling everybody that it's now streaming on Max, leaving us hanging for like another 5 freaking hours after the initial midnight kind of announcement that we thought that was it. We thought that was it. I think a lot of us in the comments were starting to curse the WB with the chicken pox. And I just want to read some of the comments on my reaction video that I posted to our Instagram as well as our TikTok. Marie Lodi I think I'm saying her name right, Andriakos. She was the writer for Elle magazine that featured us in her Practical Magic 25 years celebration. Yes. So what's up, Marie? Shout out to Marie. She said, 5 magic moments for a digital download and streaming announcement? I don't think so. So she wasn't buying it, right? I was like, yeah, they're having way too much fun playing with us. It's so cruel. Joseph of Grounded by the Moon just weighed in with some laughing emojis. Paige from Wild Spellcraft said, I don't know, but I brought my pitchfork to the comments section and in between refreshing the feed, and I went over to the TikTok, and she was pissed over there. She was like,
man,
He was like, pitchfork fire emoji, you better not be trolling us. Then Mallory weighed in. Mallory Trunnell, she goes, are we being punked? Austin Ray Womack said, I am heartbroken. Because we thought it was just like, that was it. That was the HBO Max streaming announcement.
Yep.
That was all we had. Claire SB said, I think that's it, which is why it was a TikTok maybe. I looked online at the films and they, talking about Warner Brothers, post all the films that they have in the works and it went up to 2027 and I couldn't see any Practical Magic title in there. People at Warner Brothers were keeping the shit under wraps. And then Amanda's comments, she commented in when finally the news dropped and she was like, you called it. It was, the time zone was midnight Pacific time. So then shortly after we wrapped our IG live, because we jumped right on yesterday, right, when we both saw that news, it was so lovely to get to chat with some excited Practical Magic fans and hear their fresh reactions to this piping hot tea that just spilled out right out the kettle. And someone commented on a post of ours and told us that the WB had taken their 3-candle teaser off their IG. So right away, my mind went to, oh my God, they've been hacked. It's another hoax. Our hearts. So my heart sank. And I went to the TikTok to see if all those other videos, like the part 1 through part 5, were taken down as well. And they were still up. But then a little while later, they posted new TikToks. And somebody else posted to our Instagram and was like, they're adding new TikToks as we speak right now. So I went over to the TikTok after that initial CapCut announcement. They added 4 or 5 more videos after that that were like, one was Jillian in the bathroom holding the belladonna, and it was
They're funny over there.
Yeah,
They're funny.
They have jokes over there. So guys, go check out those TikToks, all of those little announcements that followed the actual CapCut Midnight Margarita announcement that Practical Magic 2 is in fact happening. Eventually, they ended up taking the teaser off the WB Instagram and taking those videos from the TikTok and moving those over to the Instagram. That was a relief because I don't think our hearts could handle another hoax like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I know. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right? And I thought they probably took it down, just make it clean, put out all their new information.
So with this though came some theories. I think the very first thing that we were all kind of wondering is the teaser and even the announcement. The teaser was vague because it was midnight, didn't give us a time zone, just 3 candles, TikTok midnight. But then when the actual announcement came out, the CapCut saying Practical Magic 2 is happening. Okay, Practical Magic 2, cool, but is this a sequel? Is this a prequel? The announcement was very vague. We know it's not a reboot at this point because of some things we're going to talk about in a little bit, but then also it raised the question, is this a reboot? Is it a sequel? Is it a prequel? Or is it a reboot? The announcement was super vague, and all it said was Practical Magic 2 was coming, but that's all it said. So I wanted to dive into a couple different theories on what the plot of this movie might actually be. So the first thing, which I think a lot of people picked up on, was the 3-candle theory. So if anybody has read the Rules of Magic, this could possibly mean that we're getting a Rules of Magic prequel, because we have had a few fans DM us with their theories that the teaser had the 3 candles on it, one to represent Jet, one to represent Franny, and one to represent Vincent, which is the 3rd sibling in that triad, right? Which wasn't in the first movie, but if you read the books, and if we're going with the books, then that would be those 3 candles, one to represent each of those siblings. So let's unpack this theory for a little bit. And we were talking about this a little earlier. We know that the HBO Max was planning a Rules of Magic miniseries back before the pandemic. And a while ago, we had messaged Alice through her IG, asked her what was going on with all that, and she told us what she told us. Christina read that to you guys a little earlier, that all of the books were going to be part of the TV series, but then HBO Max was bought out, and then they canceled it, including, this Practical Magic Rules of Magic miniseries project. Yeah, and this was in response to our inquiry back when that poster hoax happened, which brings me to theory number 2. Let's talk about the poster hoax of February 2023.
Poster hoax. So I want to know, I don't know if we go into this later.
Yeah.
But if you're going to call it Practical Magic 2.
Yeah.
If this turns into a Rules of Magic and maybe Practical Magic 2 is just a placeholder, making it Practical Magic 2 you would almost have to make a sequel. You can't do a reboot. You would have to have, when they reboot The Craft, they didn't call it The Craft 2. They gave it a sub name. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking that the Practical Magic 2 title, as in Practical Magic 2 is coming, we are to expect a second Practical Magic movie, but I think maybe they don't want to commit to what that's actually going to be just yet.
Okay.
I don't even know if there's a script because right now, if you look on the IMDb, it says it's in pitch mode or whatever. It's in the pitch phase. So who knows if they even have a script yet? We know they have the same writers attached to it, which we'll get to in a little bit. We'll talk about that. I don't think they really have much to go on yet. I think they just got the green light for the project and they're trying to figure out how they want to approach this. Let's talk about the poster hoax of February 2023. On February 24th, 2023, RuPaul's Drag Race family page on Facebook posted the following synopsis. It said this: Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman are set to return for a sequel to the hit 1999 film Practical Magic. Set 25 years after the events of the first film, Practical Magic 2 will see Sally and Jillian having to deal with the effects of a long-forgotten family curse. When Sally's granddaughter turns 16, all hell breaks loose when an ancient family curse finally descends. Tracking down the source to a long-forgotten Owens family coven, the 6 Owen women must travel across country if they have any hope of saving the future of their family. Practical Magic 2 arrives 2025.
Which of all places for this article to show up?
Right. Why?
RuPaul's Drag Race family page.
Yeah, why?
Why?
Why there? Like, what the hell was that all about? And it's just like, it was just confusing to, I think, a lot of us. Like, we're like, what? Where is coming from? And where did they get this information from? And like, we know AI can do whatever the fuck you want it to do. Like, somebody could have generated that shit, like typed in, generate me a Practical Magic 2 poster, generate me a Practical Magic 2 synopsis if the movie were to have a sequel. Because I mean, if you look at it, Practical Magic 2, again, so vague. That doesn't say anything. If this was real, this RuPaul page posted this synopsis along with this movie poster that said, and the movie poster read, The Magic Returns, Practical Magic 2. And it was a very vague poster with 3 candles on it as well. Very similar to the teaser we just got from the WB, right? And also the WB posted to their TikTok, Practical Magic 2 is coming. Again, very vague. The font on the poster, this hoax poster, was very generic. It wasn't that special Practical Magic font that we all know. The branding just wasn't there for this to be believable.
It was a little off. It was almost there, but like maybe they were trying to make it a little different because that quintessential star, that star at the top of the eye, is so recognizable, at least to us fans, and it was different on that hoax poster. It wasn't that glowy starburst, right?
Right. Yeah. So I think we were all like, is this for real? Like, we all questioned it, but we all were like, the branding is just off. So we didn't know. But I mean, we questioned it. But it looked like somebody just mocked this up in Photoshop. There was no supporting evidence to back this up anywhere online. I think we all checked IMDb as soon as this fake poster dropped, right? But the poster also said the casting on top. It says Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, Evan Rachel Wood, Karen Gillan, Stockard Channing, Diane Wiest. Whoever created this poster included the entire original cast. So we were like, oh, okay, that's awesome if this is true. But nothing else.
So did Karen Gillan play Little Antonia? Is that the same person? Okay. Because I looked at that poster. I was like, who the fuck is that? I don't know these people.
I said the same thing.
She was so little. Yeah. After we saw this and the internet went into that huge frenzy in which we had to go to Alice and be like, girl, is this happening? And she gave us the big no.
Yeah, during that whole upheaval of the Practical Magic community, I think in my minds, we were trying to do damage control on behalf of Alice because like we didn't want this fake news spreading around and then like people expecting things, you know, whether it was from her or whoever else. Like we don't want people spreading fake news, right?
We wanted to be her side girls on the girls, her street team.
Her street team, exactly. And we want to be the most credible source of information for you guys. So we didn't want to feed that Delulu, but we did post to our Instagram and we tagged her and we're like, Alice, is this for real? Is this right? And she messaged us back very quickly and was like, no, it's not. That's a hoax, whatever. She didn't say it was a hoax, but she was like, no, it's not happening. So she kind of put the kibosh on it. So needless to say, we had mixed emotions from the start and having to break the news to whoever we could that according to Alice that this was in fact a hoax. And we were going around to the different posters, like we were seeing people reposting this like wildfire, just spread like wildfire. And we were going around to the different posts, be like, sorry, this isn't happening, it's a hoax, blah blah blah. Right?
And we tried to put in like Alice Hoffman has confirmed this is a hoax. Say it came right from her mouth. Alice, you liar.
Well, now knowing what we know, she is very good at pulling the wool over our eyes. And also, decades. I must say also, I was peeping her Instagram yesterday,
Yeah.
and Hillary Burton, who we saw her on her book tour with this past October in Salem, we saw the both of them have a panel, and the two of them seem to have a very close budding BFF kind of relationship. You'd think they would talk about stuff like this, but Hillary commented on Alice's stuff. Like, Alice, like, she was surprised that this, like, Alice was
I
able
love
to
that. That's so great.
right. So the whole time we're like hitting up Alice, and she's like, no, this isn't happening, not happening, not happening. So she knew this was happening all along. So here is my theory.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And we did talk about this briefly on our recent IG live that we did the other morning when this news first dropped,
Mhm.
right? Was it the other morning or was it yesterday morning?
The 10th when this dropped.
Yesterday morning.
Yesterday
Holy
morning.
shit, that feels like 2 days ago already. It's been like a tunnel vision over here.
Yeah.
So here's my theory, okay? My theory is that the Practical Magic poster hoax of February 2023 was not actually a hoax. I think that the synopsis and the poster was possibly leaked by someone on the inside. Maybe the WB got hacked, or maybe the wrong person got a hold of this information and leaked it, and then the WB had to do damage control, including everyone who actually knew about it, including Alice, who told us it wasn't happening. Because if a project isn't greenlit, which it probably wasn't at that point, then they aren't legally allowed to say anything,
Right.
and especially not confirm it.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, Alice probably couldn't legally say anything even if she knew. Even if this was, in fact, real news that leaked when we deemed it a hoax.
Yep.
And then they kind of tried to wipe it from the internet and just brush it under the rug like it never happened. So, my question is, could this poster have been made from an actual fan who was doing some wishful thinking, and then maybe the WB saw the demand for a second movie as a result of this fan
Could
poster?
be, yeah.
Or the poster was a mock-up done by someone on the inside. It was leaked prematurely, and then they had to do damage control, so they tried to cover it up by labeling it a hoax.
I don't know. The type font is similar, but it gives me like Lord of the Rings vibes, not Practical Magic vibes, just because like the iridescence, the gold. I don't know. That's what it gives me. So that is where my mind went of like, that's a fan made thing.
Right, but is it though? Because look at the symbolism here. The 3 candles is on the hoax poster. The 3 candles they used to tease, the WB used the 3 candles to tease us, right? So that is very consistent. And then also the synopsis is very close to that of like Book of Magic.
It is, yes.
So that synopsis, it's more like, yeah, if it's more along the lines of Book of Magic, it would make sense if they were to do a sequel to pick back up 25 years later. Sally is a grandma, Kylie and Antonia much older. That synopsis is so Book of Magic.
Exactly. And here's my theory is because in the Practical Magic movie, there was no Gideon, where in Practical Magic, the book, little Kylie has a best friend named Gideon who plays a huge role in Book of Magic. But if he's not in Practical Magic, they don't really need him for Book of Magic if hashtag Practical Magic too. So the synopsis that we are getting has more to do with the lineage of women. Now there's a granddaughter involved, another little one. Are they talking about Sally's granddaughter in the synopsis?
Yeah, because doesn't in Book of Magic, doesn't one of them have a child? She's ready to have a baby, right? She's pregnant during the whole book.
Yes.
But I like your theory. That would make sense because, I mean, look at Practical Magic, the book and the film, right? They didn't follow the book exactly. They kind of reworked it to be more Hollywood and to fit the Hollywood mold and to kind of make it not more interesting. The book was great, but it was a whole different other beast, right? It was a different thing.
Yes.
So they kind of reworked it to give it more pizzazz for Hollywood's sake. Now I could see them doing the same thing for Book of Magic, and like you just said, they don't need Gideon in the movie. Even though he's in the book, they don't need him in the movie if they're following the movie timeline.
Right.
Because he wasn't in the movie.
Right.
So that does make sense. I like that theory. So I don't know, man. This poster, quote, hoax could have very well been the real deal, and they labeled it as a hoax to brush it under the rug until they were actually greenlit for this. So now they're actually greenlit because now it's on IMDb Pro,
which we're going to get to some information, right?
We're going to get to that in a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. I'm convinced that the poster hoax was actually maybe real. Maybe it just got leaked at the wrong time.
I loved it. I think it's a very beautiful poster. I think
It is.
it's dark, like dark academia, dark garden, which, by the way, let us know how you like our thumbnail. Wink, wink. Who made that? A fan made that. The Stinas made that. So please like and share.
Yeah, the album cover that you see for this podcast episode, it was not the actual hoax poster. We actually regenerated it in AI, so we're not ripping off whoever did create that original hoax poster. Because who knows? Was that an actual WB made poster? And that's the other thing that I wanted to mention. Not only the three candles consistency between this hoax poster and the WB teaser, but also the fact that they're just calling it Practical Magic 2. So Practical Magic 2 was on the hoax poster, and when they released the official announcement, they said Practical Magic 2 is coming. There's consistencies across the board between the hoax poster and the information that the WB has released so far. I don't know. I'm convinced it was real, and they just tried to sweep it under the rug and pass it off as, oh, no, it's just a hoax. Those were just a couple of the theories that I wanted to share. So we're going to talk about some of the information that has been released. So we posted this following article to our Instagram yesterday, which, by the way, gained a lot of traction for an article that wasn't even ours. We reposted it, we tagged the news outlet in our stories just so everybody can go read it for themselves. We don't want to spread any misinformation. But this thing had so many reposts and shares. This one post got almost 300 likes in maybe 5 hours or so, which is
crazy.
Probably a record for us, right?
Yeah, we're not that big.
So that was exciting to see all the interactions and all the comments. So thank you guys for spreading that around, reposting it, commenting, weighing in. And there were some just really nice comments to go read through, and everybody's just so excited about this.
And this was written yesterday, June 10th at 9:08 a.m. And that was about the time we were sharing our oh shit, was this a hoax? What's going on?
Yeah.
But Matt Grober wrote this article entitled Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman in talks to return for, quote, Practical Magic sequel via deadline.com. And it says Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman are in negotiations to return for Practical Magic 2, a sequel to Warner Brothers' 1998 romantic fantasy. The studio announced via its social media channels on Monday. Akiva Goldsman, who penned the original film alongside Robin Swicord and Adam Brooks, will return to write the screenplay. Bullock and Kidman are expected to produce alongside the original's Denise Denovi. Details to the sequel's plot are under wraps for now. Directed by Griffin Dunn, Practical Magic adapted the 1995 novel from Alice Hoffman. The story follows two sisters, Sally, played by Sandra Bullock, and Gillian Owens, played by Nicole Kidman, who come from a long line of witches. Orphaned at a young age, they are raised by their eccentric aunts, who embrace their magical heritage. However, the Owens family is cursed, and any man who falls in love with an Owens woman is bound to end up 6 feet under. Subsequently, that's not what it says. It says is doomed to an untimely death. Subsequently, Sally and Gillian struggle with their powers and the consequences of the family curse. Sally attempts to lead a normal life, distracting herself from magic, distancing herself from magic, but tragedy strikes when her husband dies. Gillian, on the other hand, lives a wild life, embracing her magical abilities. The sisters are reunited when Gillian finds herself in a dangerous relationship with Jimmy Angelov, played by Goran Visnich, a violent man. In an effort to protect Gillian, the sisters accidentally kill Jimmy, leading to a series of supernatural events, and they attempt to hide the death and ultimately break the family curse. Stockard Channing, Diane Weiss, and Aidan Quinn also starred in the first Practical Magic, which grossed over $68 million worldwide. Currently, Kidman can be seen starring in Expats, Prime Video's awards-contending miniseries From the Farewell's Lulu Wang, next to be seen starring opposite Zac Efron and Joey King in Netflix's rom-com A Family Affair. It's out June 28th. Her upcoming slate also includes Netflix murder mystery series The Perfect Couple, the Amazon series K Scarpetta, the feature thriller Holland, Michigan, the second season of Paramount Plus's Lioness and Hulu 9 Perfect Strangers, and Helena Regin A24 pick Baby Girl, among other projects. Bullock is coming off performances in the blockbuster Bullet Train in the Lost City, as well as the acclaimed Netflix pick Bird Box and The Unforgivable. A producer on Mattel Films' forthcoming Major Matt Mason, starring Tom Hanks, Goldsman was most recently announced as a producer on the company's upcoming live-action theatrical Monsters High film. In television, the most recent credits for the writer-producer include Star Trek, Strange New World, and The Crowded Room. So that is what the article had to say.
Around around that same time that we came across that article and reposted it, our patron and dear friend Mallory informed us about the IMDb Pro page. And all of the info basically matched the info in this article, thus confirming the original writer's involvement, as well as Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, who were listed as producers on the project. So I know it said on the IMDb page in parentheses, it said rumored. It said this article said that they're in talks and I guess in negotiations. So who knows how much involvement, but they were listed as producers, like rumored producers, but their role on the project was listed as a producer. So who knows? Are they going to be cast back as an older Jillian and Sally? We don't. Okay, so Mallory uploaded her own video to TikTok, so we just want to play that audio right now because her video cracked me the fuck up.
You've heard the news. Warner Brothers kept everybody up till midnight and then told us a nothing burger. It just like posted half of the original movie. Thanks, guys. That was A+ trolling whoever was in charge of that. But I just looked on IMDb Pro, and I can tell you that it says that the status of the film, Practical Magic 2, is in the pitch phase, and it was updated on June 10th. I will show you a clip of this in a second, and the stars attached so far are one Sandy Bullock and one Nicole Kidman. There you go. Practical Magic 2, Denise Denovi, one of the original producers. Akiva Goldsman's doing the script, so that sounds amazing. Nicole and Sandy. And then if we go to the status, you will see 4 details. Status is in the pitch phase, and it was updated June 10th, which is today. To quote another one of my favorite movies, it's all happening.
She was like, oh my god, a nothing burger.
What's that nothing burger?
Basically because they like hyped it up and then they gave us nothing.
Got it.
Until like the next day. I thought that was hysterical. But I do want to kind of like talk about speculations as far as like the cast and who we think is gonna reprise what role maybe. And maybe a while ago, remember we made a prediction? Or we had a hope anyway. I forget what episode it was. We were hoping that the Sally and Jillian would step into the aunt's role, like an older aunts or whatever, I guess. And then the younger girls would step into a Sally and Jillian role, right? Isn't that what something like that? We had something in our mind?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what we thought if they were going to make like a, I don't know, like a spinoff, but it sounds like Stockard and Diane are still signed on for this, so they can't play anybody else but the aunts. So Sally and Jillian and the young girls, I feel like 25 years later, just if that is what's happening, makes sense because
wait a minute. You just said Stockard and Diane are still involved. Did it say that on the IMDb Pro page?
No, I'm just going off the poster. We're not going to know.
We're not going to know. There's still so much information that hasn't been released yet and will still probably be unclear for a very long time. But I do think it's fun to speculate, like, is this a prequel? Is this a sequel? We know it's not a reboot because the original writers and producers are involved. And why would they recreate the same thing they did 25 years ago? So if they're going to do Practical Magic 2, they need to give us more of the story, not do the same thing over again. The fan base to be happy. And we're judging. We're watching.
It would be a funny like side project or like a bloopers thing if they did dress Sally and Jillian up as like the aunts and they did like a little aunt skit or something like that. That would be cute.
But I mean, as far as like an actual movie, I don't know if I could see them pouring like hundreds of millions of dollars into this production that's going to just mirror what they did 25 years ago. Right. You can't recapture that magic.
No.
Like, no. Reboots always flop. Reboots never do well. I think they need to handle this with the most tender, loving care because there are so many people waiting for this movie and it needs to be done right.
Yeah. In my mind, my mind goes back to the house. I'm going to notice every little modern detail that they have put in. Like, are they going to have a TV now? Are they going to have the fridge in the kitchen where it is not in the old movie? Like, what little tiny differences? Because my mind goes to when they did the reboot of Gilmore Girls and how there was like stuff that was slightly off and it had to be modern. It has to be in this day and age. So now we're going to probably see the Owens women using cell phones, that's going to be so weird.
Right. Yeah. Modern conveniences in the Owens family.
Weird.
It is a little off-putting because like in our minds we think of the Owens house as this like timeless space, right? This space just
Time
like
capsule.
it's a time capsule, or maybe not even, maybe it's just like, this liminal space that never changes, and it's just like it's like that your grandma's house you go to, or like that
I
aunt's
hope
house you
so.
go to,
Yeah.
that just like never changes no matter how far advanced in technology we are. But like even in the original film, like TVs existed then, right? But we didn't see any TVs in the Owens
Mm-mm.
house. If you think about it, we saw a phone. That was the most thing we saw
We might
attached
have
to
seen like
a
a
board,
phonograph or something. Wasn't there like a record player?
like a yeah, phonograph, right?
Yeah.
But it was kind of like that antique kind of vibe.
Hmm.
I don't think the aunts were into modern conveniences, but if we're going with 25 years later, in the Book of Magic, Jet has her fate and Franny meets her fate. So who knows if it was like a movie plot that took place 25 years later? Are the aunts even going to be involved, or are they going to have been passed on by that point in that storyline?
Oh my God.
And then, since Sally and Jillian kind of maybe take over the Owens household, are they going to do those updates that the aunts didn't want to do because they were stuck in their time,
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I can't. There's too
right?
much for my brain to compute.
But the one thing that I think we can all agree on is that now that we know that Practical Magic 2 is coming, no matter if it's a sequel or prequel, whatever, they have to rebuild that house.
No. Do you know how hard I have been manifesting this house back into
Uh-huh.
reality and for a bed and breakfast to just be a part? I'm telling you, you and me,
Yeah.
B&B,
Recording studio,
recording
B&B,
studio for free.
recording studio. Well, do you think that they're gonna rebuild this house back on the bluff that they originally did and have it like a shell of a structure and tear it down again? Or do you think they're gonna find somewhere more permanent to build this so they can keep it up and keep it as a museum?
If they fucking were smart, they would do that.
Right.
They make so much
Yeah.
money after the fact.
Oh my, that would be amazing.
I'd be there. Oh,
In a heartbeat.
in a
In a
heartbeat.
heartbeat. But like now they not only do they have to rebuild that house, they have to rebuild the garden, they have to rebuild everything surrounding that property.
Mhm. I remember all of those, the little trinkets and like the Book of Shadows and stuff that people have gotten on eBay from these
Yeah.
set designers and all that stuff. That's no longer in Warner Brothers' possession. So they have to remake all that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have a lot of work on their hands, kind of recreating this world that they 25 years ago, maybe the archival system wasn't so good back then. I mean, things are better kept now because we have more technology to do
Mm.
that, but I'm sure that there's a lot that they're gonna have to recreate.
I
That's
know.
it's
It's a
either
lot of
gonna
work.
be it's a lot of work, and it's either gonna be hit or miss.
Unfortunately, I'll have to come to terms with they might not even focus on the house because it sounds like if they're going to go the Book of Magic route, they're not even going to stay in America for very long. Then maybe they're going to have a couple exterior shots, which they could realistically reuse from the old movie, which they probably
Right.
won't do if their budget is anything like I'm expecting. And then the
Yeah.
rest of it be all soundstage, like interior stuff. And then they just go to whatever country they're going back to. We
Right.
don't see the house at all.
Yeah, I mean, if we're rolling with the Book of Magic, yeah, the other country. If we're rolling with the hoax synopsis, if that is in fact true, they go to like LA or something to dispel this
Oh
curse.
God, please don't.
Yeah, please don't do that. I just have to say, whatever they do, do it justice. And I cannot picture a Practical Magic sequel or a prequel or whatever for that matter. I can't picture any other Practical Magic movie coming out without that house.
Without that house.
So they have to rebuild it regardless. That's its own character. And if that doesn't make an appearance, I think a lot of people are going to be pissed.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
So-
Even if they have to, I guess, I don't know, they could probably like AI generate that shit nowadays. They probably don't even have to build it. So those are our predictions, projections, speculations. We know just as much information as everybody else right now, but we kind of wanted to give you the rundown if you haven't been keeping up and you kind of just like want all the information in one spot right now. That's all we have to go off of right now, but we're going to do our best to keep things updated. We're going to be covering any little bit of news that drops about this Practical Magic 2 that is happening now. So here we are. It's
Yeah.
happening.
So make sure you check out our Instagram. That is where we will probably be sharing most of any new information we find. And thank you again to Mallory and everybody else who has tagged us and helped us and is feeding us information that we can share with the whole neighborhood on Magnolia Street. Just make sure to also tag Warner Brothers. Let them know that Stinas have a soundtrack ready to go for them.
Cats.
Cats.
Guys, we do have a Patreon. If you would like to support the podcast, you can head over to patreon.com/Magnolia Street Podcast. We have tiers ranging from just $1 a month all the way up to $15 a month. And if you go over to that Patreon page, you can see what all the different tiers are. We do have our own Practical Magic inspired original music that we showcase every now and then on what we call our song-episodes to show you a little bit more about our behind the scenes and our songwriting process. And also this coming fall, we do have an EP planned. We recorded about 5 songs with a studio up in Boston called Plaid Dog Recording, who specializes in helping indie artists just like us get our music funded and off the ground and recorded and, get it out to the masses. So keep a look out for that because that will be coming this fall. Keep adding us on Instagram, whatever information you guys find, and keep us in the loop if you find something before us, and we'll definitely talk about it on the next episode.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, this is very exciting, but also very stress-inducing. Like, we just want this done right. We
don't fuck it up.
We hope they do this justice. But hopefully, since the original producers and writers and Sandy and Nicole
all the same brains.
If it's all the same brains involved, I am confident that it will be amazing.
And those same brains were not producers back in the day. And now they have had so much experience with so many, like, different actors that they know what they're doing.
I just wanted to say one more thing. Griffin Dunn, do we think do we think we're going to get him back to direct?
I would like to see him back.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were wishy-washy on how Practical Magic turned out. Like, it doesn't know what it wants to be, a horror, a romance, a comedy. I love that. And I think he should do it.
I think that lended to the movie's charm, which
his humor, you can see his humor in that movie.
Right. And at the time, the critics didn't know what the fuck to do with it. Yeah. But I feel like over the course of time, that movie has gained such a cult following that I think it could still be all of those things and do a great job.
Yeah.
In the box office if it was for the money, but I think they're doing this for the fans. I mean, obviously it's Hollywood, they want to make their money, but I know that they're doing this probably for the fans. So they're going to want to make the fans happy, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hope so. So keep your ear to the ground, and we will probably have more installments, more news coming your way when it comes to us. But every Friday we will have episodes for you here on Magnolia Street.
Stay tuned. Coming up next week, we are talking about the summer solstice. Then the following week, we have another song-episode for you guys about the summer solstice. And then we're going to end the month off with lavender. All right, guys. So we'll talk to you soon, and we'll talk to you on the Instagrams. Stina's out. Oh, yeah, I'm Justina.
I'm Christina.
We'll see you next time.